Hi everybody, this is Lazzat with Lazzat Photography, and today I wanted to introduce you guys our very first project we named it COVID-19 Wedding Community Awareness Initiative. The reason behind this program is we would like to get in touch with all of our local wedding vendors that are in the same boat as we all are. And the very first guest that we have here is Miss Donna with Oak Plantation and Laura with Petal Twig. And
Hey.
so, hey guys, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Doing
So
great.
sanitized.
So sanitized, I know. Tell me about it. Every day we're sanitizing and staying home, right?
Yes.
And just for the record, so we live together, so we are socially distancing within our home. So I didn't want anybody to get the idea that Laura had come here for this meeting. She actually lives here.
That's very good to know. You know, like right now in our house, we have my husband and my mom. So I tell them, I'm like, we're all three of us stuck together right now. You know, there is no social distancing for three of us. We have to be socially distant from everybody else, right?
Correct.
Absolutely.
So, Donna and Laura, can you guys tell me a little bit about your business before all of this happens?
Yes, well, we were going along full steam. This is obviously wedding season in Pensacola. And, you know, with just everything was smooth, all plans were perfectly laid out. And then this happened. So we began to get very concerned. At first, it was the 50 person or less. We thought we would be able to operate underneath that. And within whatever it was, 12 to 24 hours later, the governor came through with the executive order of no more than 10. So with that being said, of course, nobody is going to want to have a wedding that they had previously planned with that number. So we reached out to the affected couples within the time frame that was given and gave them a list of dates that we had come up with that would be a possibility for rescheduled dates for them. We were fortunate at Live Oak that we had planned to close from mid-June through the end of August for construction projects. Okay. So we made the executive decision here to put all of that on hold for our couples so that we would be able to offer them good choices. And the brides that are affected have all rescheduled to late August, September weddings, and everything is very seamless. The exact plans we had in place before, nothing changes. Everything just gets moved neatly in a little box from date A to date B. And from what we hear from the brides, they feel very relieved. And they even tell us that their guests have reported to them that they're very relieved. And so looking forward to a huge celebration because obviously, you know, after this is over, we all will have a lot to celebrate. And a wedding would be a wonderful place to do that. And yeah. Laura has met with.
And I think something that we're starting to see is a lot of the brides, they're wanting to hold on to those dates really bad. But once it kind of gets to that point where the government's stepping in, they're telling them like you're gonna have to push it back and reschedule. They really do have a big sigh of relief, and it's like a burden's taken off their shoulders because I think everybody kind of knows that your guest count would not be the same. Like people are just not going to show up. So absolutely. I think, you know, just going ahead and moving forward, rescheduling, revamping everything, it makes it to where it's kind of set in stone and it gives that security. It's almost like insurance for them. So,
and then really too, with our couples, you know, it's like taking a big leap of faith that it's all going to work out. And we recommended to them that they choose several dates to take to their vendors to make sure that they could get every vendor back into the, you know, the plan has not changed whatsoever. So with that, we have seen 100% people, 100% of compliance on every vendor. They're all bending over backwards to do what they can. Some of them that might have been in the past only able to do 1 or 2 events, they're saying they're going to hire extra, whatever they need to do to make it work, or either they will have a partner who they might refer them to.
Yeah, and when we've been working with the brides that are currently having to reschedule, we always, you know, give them like the entire calendar list of all the dates we have available, and we tell them pick 3 to 4 dates. That way you have flexibility whenever you're managing all of the different vendors and figuring out who's available, who is not. And of course, all of the vendors, we're all just kind of in it together and recommending other people that might be similar, that might be available during their dates. So it's one of those things, it's just, you're working with it and we're stepping up and doing things for our brides that we don't normally do just because it's like, oh my gosh, what can we do? How can we help? Because it's like, it's no one's fault, and
Yeah.
it's just, what can we do, really? I mean,
But so far, with having several days to go with, they have been able to get it to work out with everyone
Yes.
involved. So no
We've
one's
been-
had to pass it off to someone.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have those months available that normally we would close down for expansion. So that's just a blessing in its own, to have that for our brides, to give them that security.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very glad that you guys were able to reschedule, if not all, at least the majority of the brides and the grooms in the future. So what is the earliest date that you guys have scheduled? Like the earliest event that will take place at Live Oak?
Right now, we have a June 4th wedding it is on schedule. We've been in contact with all of our brides all the way through till the season would have ended, which would have been mid-June. So
Yeah.
we have been in contact with every one of them, letting them know, exactly where we stand, how much we're behind them, and whatever their decision about rescheduling, we're 100% behind that. No rescheduling fees whatsoever. Normally, if some bride in the past would have said, I want to change dates, of course, as you know, you lose the date, and there's always that about a new deposit would be required. That is not the case here. We are 100% applying the previous deposits to any rescheduled dates. And yeah.
I don't think any of the vendors right now are charging rescheduling fee.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it would be right to charge us a
I
rescheduling
think
fee.
everybody's pulling back and just kind of doing the altruistic thing and making it to where these brides, because I mean, having a wedding on a non-COVID situation is already stressful. And then you put a whole entire situation where you're rescheduling and taking away that date and having to put it onto something else. It's like, what can we, like I said earlier, what can we do to make it to where it's easier, less stress, and just financially doable for people to do it?
Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned the calendar, that you were sharing a calendar with all your brides. Is it an automatically updated calendar? Like, how are you guys making sure that the brides have the latest available dates?
I constantly monitor and I constantly edit. Every single time we get a new confirmed rescheduled date, I go in and then I resend the updated calendar to all the brides that had received it, so that they know they're working with a good, valid list.
And that's kind of good, because it gives them a notification as we're going. And it's not that we're trying to make it feel urgent, like they need to go ahead and reschedule or anything, but it's like, it brings it to their attention. Okay, so this person's already claimed this. Let's go ahead and get the ball going and their plan straightened out, so we have that done and behind us.
No, wait.
Now, most people want to keep their originally scheduled date, if at all possible, and we would love that as well. But, with all things being said, obviously the government takes precedence over all of the CDC's recommendation at this point is the 60-day, which would end on May the 16th. So anyone that falls between now and May 16th would pretty much not really have a choice. I don't think that, like you said, no guest is going to probably come to that anyway. So,
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen a lot of couples, they're opting in to still get married on their actual date, just so they can solidify that and have that behind them. And also, it just kind of makes the real, rescheduled date that much less stressful. You don't have to get in front of a crowd and commit to that, so you kind of can have that special intimate thing. And it's in a way like a bonus, because then you get 2 different wedding days in a way. And the next real wedding day would be you just having fun and hanging out with everybody, not having to feel all of that.
Right. Now,
built-up
I would
pressure.
say that not most do that.
No.
There are a couple that there is really, they want that date and it's special for whatever reason it might be. And so with that, we have told those brides, they're certainly welcome to come here with the 10 or less. Usually that's the 2 of them, their officiant, a photographer, and maybe someone to stand up for them, their parents. And we can do that on their regular date and then tell them, come back together. One of the brides, we have 2 actually that have chosen to do that. And one of them, she's already done her ceremony, beautiful, with just that immediate group. And they're going to come back again at the date that they've rescheduled on, and they will go forward with just as though it didn't happen, almost like a renewal of the vows, maybe.
Yeah.
And so then the other one, she is going to get married just in a little private ceremony. And when she reconvenes on her date, she's going to just not have the 20-minute ceremony, and she will then have guests arriving 20 minutes later than they would have if it had been a ceremony, and it will go immediately into cocktail hour, and it from there forward will be 100% as it was. And two, they're going to come here earlier in the day, get ready just like they would have. So the only missing part of that would be that little, the 20-minute ceremony that
the actual ceremony. Well, yesterday I actually had a conversation with one of my brides, and she was so heartbroken that she had to postpone her wedding, and she didn't know exactly how to go about it because she is a destination bride. And during the conversation, it kind of came into place where she said, I still want to get married on my wedding date, but what do you think if I celebrate my wedding next year on the same wedding day, as if the celebration of 1-year anniversary with the big wedding? And I thought that was a very good idea, because then she doesn't have to worry about guests getting sick, guests not being able to attend the wedding, and this will kind of still give them a meaning to celebrate their 1st-year anniversary, and they still get to hold their wedding date. So that's just another suggestion for all of our brides that have to postpone their wedding, right?
I see that we're on several national wedding forums, and this has been a big topic. And from what we're seeing nationally in the United States, that they are recommending that the brides book in 2020, just to reschedule a date in that year that we're in currently. I think it gets into, in some instances, there are differences in the rates change, and they've already been booking into the next year. I know with us, we're booked well into 2021. So you could put into that, wouldn't want to get anybody's hopes up. And then,
so we did have actually I think it was our first COVID-19 bride. She was looking, like you were saying, into the next year, and we were booked up, and she was like, I want to do the Saturday wedding. Like, she had originally planned just because family would be coming in from out of town and everything. So I think it's kind of like you really have to weigh out pros and cons of everything and figure out what's best for you and your guest party, everybody that's going to be coming, and case by case, really. Yeah. And whatever makes you at the end of the day feel like you're doing what makes you feel happy with it.
We do have a couple actually that it's the destination situation where they will be coming in, and they're going to go to another location. It's gorgeous, like a national park setting, and they're going to have their little private ceremony and then come here for the reschedule. So they're not actually going to have their ceremony here and the party here. They're going to have 2 different whole things that'll be beautiful for their pictures too. And it's something that no one will, these brides, and we don't wish it on anyone, but it is I guess the upside of it is their weddings will never be forgotten. And their weddings
absolutely.
They will literally be in history books, and there will be students that fail tests about them. So
and they'll blame their grandchildren and all.
I have been telling a lot that these are such historical times. I mean, nobody in the world has ever experienced such global pandemic on such a scale, So the unknowns are kind of holding us back, but at the same time, I am extremely excited about what's to come, because once all of this is over, the whole planet will be celebrating it, and we will be there ready for them to accept them with open arms and, celebrate alongside with them.
I know.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
it goes without saying, we are over this, and we are ready to have our parties back and planning people's special moments and everything. Because it's really weird not having 180 people packed into our cotton house every single weekend. It's like a ghost town out here, and so something that we're definitely looking forward to, and hopefully we can figure it out and get past all this junk and get back on the track of what we're used to.
Absolutely. You guys mentioned that you were planning to do some construction. How is that going right now?
Well, we just totally put it on the shelf because if we start with it, it would disrupt the beauty, so we're not going to interrupt anybody that would have rescheduled to be here in the summer with anything that might have a crane in the background or, lumber piled up over. So we're just completely not going to go forward until next year with that.
Gotcha. All right. So how are your daily lives right now? Like, what do you guys do every day to keep yourselves busy?
Cooking, eating, keeping up on the wedding forums and dealing with the rescheduling.
the whole
Keeping
family
current.
is working together in the same house, which is something very unique for us. Oh my God. We have my brother, he's in from Mississippi. He's the regional manager for the Red Cross over at Alabama and Mississippi. He's been working remotely here. And then my father, he owns a tractor dealership here in town, and he's been here. And so that's been something that's not challenging. It's just different, you know,
more,
to hear
more
him.
in the house than normal.
Yeah,
like,
we're all
during
here
the
in our
day.
own office talk and lingo going on, so it's so strange. But it's like I said, it's still like a ghost town for us because we're so used to having tours every single day, and you know, everybody just coming in and meeting with us, like just from like 8 until we go to sleep almost. And
Yeah.
it's just way pulled back, but in a way, it's good for us because there's so much that I know I am like getting done. There's so many projects that I'm just putting everything into it right now because I have the time. So
Yeah.
And I will say too, there are some brides that were booked at other venues, not here in Pensacola, but some actually from Mobile and down around the Destin area, that their venues didn't have any availability. So they really had to punt. So we've been contacted. We are hosting, we're not hosting, we're allowing them to come, same scenario, 10 or less, out on the grounds. We just charge a very minimal, they come with their photographer, and they're calling it like a photo shoot wedding for that, since
Yeah.
it gives them the option to go forward, be married, because some of them just want to be married. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, what would you like to wish to all of our current brides that had to postpone their weddings, and to all of our future brides? What would you tell them right now?
well, we would want them to wish them peace, because I know that it's
Yes.
very upsetting and time of turmoil, and I'm sure there are a lot of sleepless nights and knots in stomachs and
hair falling out, and everything.
And just know that every one of us, all of us, and their families and friends, they all so much feel for them deeply and want the very best outcome for them. So they're not, I know it's cliche to say that they're not in it alone, but honestly, they're not. Everyone's lifting them up in their thoughts and prayers. And
yeah, and I know that I'm a very empathetic person, and it's very easy for me to kind of put myself in someone's shoes.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me is to go ahead and tell these brides, just go ahead and accept the fact what's going on and take those measures, start working on the alternative plans, just so it doesn't get to be, you know, so close to your date and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this on top of the stress of me waiting until. So it's just like, go ahead and get your cards in a row or ducks in a row and figure out like a little bit of the details and whatnot, just to see what's available, just so they can. That's the only way I think that they could feel reassured, is to go ahead and start planning some things, just because it's almost like a moving target at this point right now with it being so early in the game. But just peace really for them and being able to sleep at night is the main thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Miss Donna. And
thank you so much for inviting us. It
We're
was
so excited whenever you invite us. We're like, oh my gosh, our first Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you guys today, and thank you so much for sharing everything that was happening at Live Oak, and Laura, with your company as well. So let's stay in touch, and if you guys have any updates, please feel free to share with us, and I will post this link on Facebook and on Instagram and on Facebook under the video post. We will be posting any kind of updates that will be happening at your end. All right. Thank you so much. You guys, please stay safe and and I will see you on the other side soon. Fingers crossed.
All right. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Bye.